Hi, my name is William Byrnes. I was in the United States Army for 4 years, from 1965 to 1969. I went through basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and AIT, I went in Fort Sam Houston, Texas, for my medical training. After basic and AIT, I went to Germany, 4th Armored Division, and I spent 2 years over there. I came to 1968 and I volunteered to go to Vietnam. I ended up in Vietnam February 2nd, 1968. And that's after the volunteer from Vietnam. I spent, and 7 months of that year my duties were as a combat medic. I served with the 9th Infantry Division. And like I said, I spent 7 months out there in the field. Got off the line, stayed back for a little while, then I got out in February of '69 is when I got out of Vietnam. And I got stationed back at Fort Devens, and I was an ambulance driver for the rest of my tour. The rest of my tour was till 1969, and that was my 4 years in the service. Like I said, I volunteered for Vietnam, no political reason or other. What happened was there was 3 of my roommates in Germany were rotating or going back home. And I said, what am I going to do here? There's nothing else to do except drink beer, you know? Yeah, they went home. And when they left, I said, well, the only one place I ain't seen yet is Vietnam. Like I said, I didn't know political, no spiritual, no any other kind of reason why I went. I arrived in Vietnam February 2nd, 1968. The offensive started on that day or the day before, and they had all kinds of stories there where, Long Binh is the replacement station. They tell me guys were hiding under mattresses, and because the Viet Cong, they come under the storm drains and stuff and breach the barracks, you know. And they tell me all these stories. I said, what the hell did I get myself into, you know? My unit was out in the field when I went over there, when Tet started. And I spent about a month back in the field until they needed me to go back out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was times when I was scared, you know? I didn't care, but as a combat medic, you gotta be like a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, all personal stuff, you know. Guys get stressful, and the first thing they run to is Doc. Hey Doc, what's I need this, or I'm short and I gotta get out of here. What can you do for me? By short, you know, you get not much time left in the field, you know. Medics only supposedly spend 6 months on the line, you know. And here I was getting 7 months. I'm saying, hey, about my turn, ain't it? So, and they got me off the field. I had a great platoon, you know. As far as maybe 26, 30 guys in the platoon. On the day of that battle there, we come back with, I think 15 guys. Everybody was getting hit for some reason. I got hit July 14th, 1968. It was 6:30 in the morning. We had already went out and did a patrol. You know, so we're back in and we're just getting ready. This was when we were on the boats, and the river boats, you know, in July of '68. Like I said, the 14th of July '68 was when we came in from patrol, and I was setting up a can of food, something it was, and I just went to light it, and a big explosion went off. I got knocked out, and so I really didn't know what's happening. But I wasn't out for long when I started treating the guys up around me because, quite a few guys got hit. One of these guys was Chuck Farrago. He was my grenadier. And he was hit. I went to him first. First thing he says, "Doc, you're bleeding." I didn't really know what happened. And then I went like that, and I seen the blood. Ended up patching everybody. That was a long 2 days, longest 2 days of my life, And they picked us up the next day, and that day after we all got hit, they picked us up and brought us back in. I stayed off the line for a while, and then I said, I got to get back out there. Those are my brothers out there, you know what I mean? So went back out in the line, spent a little time, and then I went to, it was time for my R&R. I went to Taipei, which was pretty nice after being in Vietnam, And went to Taipei. It was funny too because the guys prep you before you go. You watch the taxi drivers, watch the girls. He said within 2 minutes you're gonna have a knock on the driver's gonna bring you up to a room. 2 minutes after that, you're gonna have a girl at your door. He says, don't take the first or the second one. They get better as you get older, as they get old. So I hooked up with a few mama-sans over there in Taiwan. Went out to some nice restaurants, and it was really nice for 5 days or 4 days or whatever it was. I actually went to Taiwan twice. Once when I was on the line, and once when I was off the line. And when I went back the second time, I found that girl again. Oh, we gotta get married. We gotta get married, I said, no. So she actually worked in a bar. They have cards, like regular cards, calling cards, advertised right on there. 120 girls work here. So that was quite a few of them. So I ended up with one, and I went back to Vietnam. I didn't have to go back out in the line. I had my line time in. Like I said, I went to Taiwan, and it's a beautiful country. It was a good R&R. They had all kinds of different places you could go. You could go to Hawaii. Most of the guys that were married went to Hawaii. All kinds of different, Manila, Australia, and in Hawaii. Some guys that were single went to Hawaii, but if you were there a long time, the longer you were there, the more of a better place you get for R&R, I took that, got to get off the line. Didn't do much until I rotated in February of '69. I went home on leave. Then I went to Fort Devens in Massachusetts for my remaining 7 or 8 months or something like that. Getting back to being on the line, I'll just jump back a little bit. That day we got hit on it was the 13th and the 14th. It was a 2 day operation. And a whole bunch of guys got hit one day, and then I got hit the 14th, and it was just so messed up. I mean, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, especially if you hit, you're worrying about that. In those tango boats, which that's what they call troop carriers. And they, like I said, they hold maybe 25, 30 guys, something like that. They have the ramp on it, and the ramp goes down, and the worst part of it is getting off of it, because it's all mud, on a riverbank. When that ramp goes down, you better unass that boat in a hurry, because you don't know whether it's hot or it's cold. Or seen a lot of guys get hit when that ramp went down, But we had a giant troop ship. They brought us in from a big troop carrier that had, I don't know, must have been 600 guys on there or something like that. And we used to, you'd take a shower, but we wouldn't go back there every day. depending on the situation, you know. But at least they had hot food, and when they picked us up in country, they were all staring at us like we're zombies or something, you know, because we were in mud, head to foot, you know. Then we get on the pontoons. They're next to the ship, you know, and says, "Okay, here, time for your shower. Take all your clothes off completely," and they hose you down before you get on the ship, you know. And then I walked up 2 or 3 flights, no clothes on. I think I had my aid bag. That was the only aid bag and boots or something like that. That went pretty good. We got along real good with the Navy, but we used to run operations right off of those Tango boats. They'd land us Huey right on top of it, you know, and we take off from there. You only could do one at a time off of there, so. And like I said, we enjoyed that part about it. And getting back to that battle there, we knew we were in trouble when we started seeing all the bunkers on the side of the river. We got in contact the first day, and then contact again the next day. And don't ask me how many was killed or what. I have no idea, you know. We ran the operations on the river boats, but they had a lot of firepower to those Navy boat guys. They had a 50 cal twin 50s, a couple 20 millimeters, flamethrower, not on the troop ship. It was their own separate ship, you know. 20 millimeter cannons and the flamethrowers, and we used to tell them, cook them up. And you send, like you see pictures of it where they go in like an arc, them guys in the Navy. I tell you, those guys in the Navy, I give them all the credit in the world. I mean, they were down in the mud like we were, you know. We cleaned it up after that firefight. We went back and we stayed in about a week at the base camp. Our base camp was in a town called Dongtam, you know, and it was the headquarters of the 9th Infantry Division. And we didn't spend a lot of time there, you know. It was more or less just to dry your feet. That was one of the worst problems, was your feet. I mean, they told me when I left there, my feet would never come back the way they're supposed to, you know. But you used to take 24 hours off or something and dry flip-flops. And that's funny too, because back in our base camp, it was either the battalion surgeon or somebody high-ranking come up to me, which we weren't that far outside of Saigon, but he come up to me and he said, "Doc, I want you and another guy to go to Saigon and pick up some supplies." I said, "What kind of supplies?" He says, "Flip-flops, 600 pair." And there's just 2 of us, and that was still going on. And I said, "What's this guy crazy sending us? So I don't even know how to get there." You know. So then taking off those flip-flops were something else. That's when we were in a place called Nabe, just outside of Saigon. It was a gasoline storage area, what it was, and all kinds of these big tankers and stuff. I said, this is the last place in the world we should be, you know? And they ended up blowing them up after I come back. And that's when they overran it like they did everything else over there. And those tanks must have, I don't know how many gallons of gas, but they blew them up, and everything else that wasn't nailed down. Nabe was nice. That's where, you know, we come in from the field, and come nighttime, a few of us used to sneak off into the village, stay all night. As soon as it gets laid out, go back to the barracks. We weren't far, Now, one time we pushed it too far and we got caught. Except me, I was in my company headquarters. Where were you? I said, I was with the Alpha Company all night. But the rest of the guys are all, I think a lot of them got Article 15s for it, That didn't bother us, so next night go back out there, But between, I didn't take an in-country R&R because I didn't want to go to Vung Tau, which was a recreational area. And guys were actually stationed right there, So a couple of years after I get out, I talked to a guy, we're all shooting at shit. Where were you? He says, Vung Tau. I said, what'd you do? He says, lifeguard. I said, you shitting me. I said, I don't even want to hear you, we don't even want to hear that stuff, But other than that, I got out of the service in October of '69, and I went to work right away. Went to work in this factory and shipping, And at the same time, I got my EMT card. I got that, and I worked on the ambulance for a while. Then I gave that up. I said that's enough. Joined the fire department. Volunteer. Was on there for, 10, 12 years, something like that. In the meantime, I got married in April of '69, 53 years coming up, the 11th. We, don't ask me where all the time went. And I have 3 daughters, and let me think how many 5 grandkids and 2 great-grandsons. So, we got the whole bunch of them, I had, I went for a lot of help when I got out. I went to Northampton and Springfield, and I still go, as a matter of fact, I still go and see the guys, check in, make sure they're doing all right. And everything's been smooth since then, I go to my meetings, I get my meds off the VA. I didn't get along very well with hippies when I come back. In fact, there's one, my brother was in the car, and this other kid, Barry Gleason, he was a farmer from upstate New York. And we get along good at Devon's. So we stopped right here in Palmer, we stopped at a Friendly's. I was in the car, and Barry was in the car. And my brother, he looked out across the street. He's arguing with 2 guys. Then he goes to me, he says, come here. He said, what's the matter? Then whoever it was said something, I forget what he said. I hit him, he went down on a little knoll, like that, and his eyes went back in his head. I swear to God that I was gonna get arrested for killing somebody when I seen him. Well, he went down and his eyes were, I said, let's go and get rid of this car, But like I said, my brother was in the National Guard. I had 5 brothers, 3 sisters. And my younger brother, he went in the service in 1974 or something like that. He spent 23, 24 years or something like that. He was in the Iraq War, the first one, 91. And he's doing good right now. I go to reunions. Every once a year we go to a reunion. We have them in a different state every year. We've been to Albuquerque, we've been to San Antonio twice, Nashville, Salt Lake City, DC. This year we're going to Galveston, Texas in October, so that'll be very nice. But the reunions, once in a while that somebody will bring up that battle, but it's mostly camaraderie. All the guys, get together and no war stories, no nothing. We just have a good time. I stay in contact with a bunch of guys that was in my unit. I just about talk to them about every day, something like that. So we got a pretty good bunch of guys that go to the reunions with the wives and the kids and everything like that. We do good. So that's about all I got for now.